What's going on, guys? Let you know we've got something very new. One of the issues that people have is setting up their holding company. So we're offering a service where we will set up your holding company, your operating companies, and then guide you through the whole process of setting up your business checking. That link's below. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the importance of setting up a holding company. When you set up a holding company, you're making this big announcement to the world that you're going to start more than one business. When you make this announcement, when you start to go with this premise, you are programming the future. When you just start one company, and let me go ahead and walk through the process of how a lot of people start a company. They'll come to the internet, they'll read one of these hacks, and they'll start doing stuff. There's no holding company, there's no operating company, there's no business checking, there's no business credit card. They'll just go ahead, put something together, start making some money, and here's why that is dangerous. When you do not set up your company properly from start, this creates. Do you want to learn how to build a holding company, an operating company, and how to get massive lines of business credit? But more importantly, do you want to learn how to start, management, run, and organize an operating company where you can make money? This is one of the things that we have that's going on in the Corporate Citizen Playbook. And one of the things that you need to do is to go below and sign up for the phone call. What we do is we have a scheduled phone call before you can get into the Corporate Citizen Playbook to make sure that your thoughts and our thoughts match up before we get you into the program, which will constitute hands-on training. One of the things that's going to happen is I'm going to guide you personally through setting up your business, setting up your organization, and doing the things that you need to do to be successful. So go below, there's the little video for you to watch. Then there's a questionnaire. Let me say this, do not go in and half fill out the questionnaire. If you half fill out the questionnaire, that will disqualify you from entering into the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where you can learn how to make 6 figures for the rest of your life. The link's below, check it out. When you do not set up your company properly from start, this creates a situation, this creates a pattern of behaviors and habits that can be with you your whole business of not doing the things properly. So what you want to do is to start your business, because this is one of the things I consistently see. People don't want to commit to anything. And one of the things I tell people is start your holding company, start your operating company, then start your business. But a lot of people don't want to do that. And I'm going to explain to you why a lot of people do not want to do that, why a lot of people do not set themselves up that way. And this is a huge thing. I see it all over YouTube. I see it all over in real world. A lot of people cannot stick with anything. So they don't want to make the investment of starting anything, putting anything in writing, setting stuff up. They don't want to do that because a lot of people just cannot stick with anything. The number of YouTube channels that I would literally see where someone just literally walks away. So you gotta be a really different type of person to set up a business, to keep it going, to start making this money. And this is one of the things that we discuss here at Personal Capital. Having the ability to stick with something long enough to actually see provisions and products. And this is one of the reasons that we got our clients through setting up their holding company first, setting up their operating companies, and then setting up their first company. Now, this is one of the things. Let me share some with you that happened to me many years ago. Before I got this education, before I knew what to do, I was in the military and I started several businesses. I started 5 businesses. I didn't know anything about a client. I didn't know anything about selling stuff. I didn't know about putting together a system. I knew none of this stuff. And as a consequence, business 1 failed, business 2 failed, business 3 failed, business 4 failed, and business 5 failed. Now, why did this stuff fail? Because one, I didn't know what I was doing. That was a big issue. I had no clue to what I was doing. And part of that is the lack of guidance to the things you need to do. Because essentially, I'm going to say some stuff that may be counter to what you have heard or may understand. Number one, it takes a lot of money to start a business. That's not true. I would say the amount of money it takes to start a business, I would put it between $5,000 and $10,000, with the majority of that money going into your business checking account and the smaller precision of that going towards setting up your holding companies, setting up your operating companies, and that type of stuff. Because once you get in the habit of setting things up correctly and doing things the proper way, it's a really different paradigm. It's a different mindset. It's a different product. It's a different way of going forward. It's a different way of setting stuff up. Because right now, everyone is looking for the fastest and the easiest, big emphasis on easy, the way to make money with a business. There are millions of businesses out there. There are many businesses out there. And once again, I would make the suggestion that you start a business that is somewhat difficult, that has a barrier to people getting in. Because one of the things I'm consistently seeing here on YouTube is all of these AI businesses where someone will come on YouTube, hey, look, this is a business that you can get into. No startup costs. The software is free. And essentially, a herd of people run those businesses, and it becomes very challenging. It becomes really difficult to make money in these businesses because number one, anyone can get into these businesses. And I will say this, if it takes you $10,000 to start your business, let me go ahead and give you an idea of what happens. If it takes $10,000 for you to start your business, 90% of the country doesn't have $10,000. 90% of the country doesn't have $10,000. 90% of the country doesn't have $10,000. So you immediately knock out 90% of the country starting a business against you if it takes you $10,000 to start your business. Because one of the things that you will see that can be somewhat lucrative depending on what you do is a food truck. But you got to get the truck. You got to get the licensing. You got to get all this stuff set up. And you're going to be looking at $20,000 to $30,000 to do all that. And that's why, have you ever seen a crowd of food trucks? You don't really see that. You'll see food trucks out there, but you don't see a crowd. You don't see a bunch of people out there with food trucks because there's a cost to starting a food truck. There's a cost to setting that up. And this is one of the reasons that if you're in an area that has a lot of food trucks, that the food trucks are doing pretty well, they don't have as much competition because it takes money. You just can't like, hey, go out and get a bus, don't put no logos on it. And once again, with food trucks, you got to know the restaurant industry. You got to have a marketing plan. You got to know where to put your food truck. There's a lot more to it. So this is one of the reasons that you don't see a bunch of people out here starting food trucks. Now, in the consequence, you see a bunch of people starting Airbnbs. Bunch of people. And this is kind of like one of my personal passions. I look at the number of what I call the failed Airbnb. Now, what is a failed Airbnb? It is a house that is fully furnished and they want way more than what the traditional rent would be. And I'm talking $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month. Now, here's the thing with that. How many people can afford to rent a place for $7,000, $8,000, or $9,000 per month? Top 8% of the country. So you've literally knocked out 92% of your potential renters because your pricing is out of line with their pockets. But once again, these people are getting an Airbnb. They've heard all the noise about starting an Airbnb business, getting into an Airbnb business, doing all this other stuff. And there's people running to get their hands on a property, either buy a property or rent a property just to get into this Airbnb money. And right now, a bunch of people who have Airbnb properties are about to sell because they're not making any money because there's too many people in the marketplace. So this is one of the things about, setting up your holding company, researching your business before you actually get into it, because there's so many people out here who are just trying to set up a business without doing a bunch of research. In the key words, easy, simple, and cheap. This is what people are looking for to get into a business. And this is one of the things that is going to literally make it so hard for you to make money in your business, because everyone is trying to do it easy, simple, and cheap. And one of the things that's going to happen as you do this is you're going to be really frustrated because you're not making any money. And also, you got to put in the work ethic to get your business up and running. All right, so once again, this is one of the things that we're doing that's really, really different. We will set up your holding company. We will set up your operating company. Now, what do I mean when I say this? Well, there's a link below. You sign for that link. We'll set up your holding company, your operating company, and then some other juicy little things for you to go ahead and get your business. Because this is one of the things I've noticed that in my program, this is the thing that takes people the longest to do. Literally, it would take me 30 minutes to set up a holding company set up a holding company. Because number one, you set up your holding company first, and then you use that to set up your operating companies. And then you do that to get and then you get your EIN. And typically, now I cannot get an EIN for you because your EIN is going to come off your Social Security. But essentially, this is the process of getting the EIN. Go into the Social Security IRS website, putting in, literally takes you 2 minutes to get your EIN. And then the way that they changed it, because you used to be able to get an EIN off of an EIN, then they changed it. So every time that you set up a company, your EIN is going to have to come off of your personal, unless you're a corporation, which is going to be really, really different. But what we do is we set up your holding companies, we set up your operating companies, we guide you to getting your first business credit card, and that link is below. And this is, I think, something that a lot of people are going to need, and this is something that a lot of people are going to want. So go below, get to there. And that's all I got for you guys today. I'll talk to you in the next one.